But let's continue then to get reaction. Cosatu's Parliamentary Coordinator, Matthew Parks, joins us via video link to weigh in on plans to help workers to understand the implementation of the two-part retirement system. Matthew, thank you so much for your time. So, we've been having a conversation in studio with my colleagues. So are workers adequately informed about the two-part system, just given the concerns that because of the misconceptions, this could be detrimental to their long-term financial well-being?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us. Look, a lot of work has been done by Cosatu, by our affiliates, also with the pension funds as well, with the CISA and colleagues in the industry to engage with workers to help brief them. But look, we haven't even reached as far as we would have loved to have reached. We've got to do a lot more work, and there is an ongoing process. It's an issue we've been busy with for the past 5 years. But look, given the size of the workforce of about 16 million workers, we'll never have enough time to brief everybody. So we're going to have to just simply go ahead and implement it. And even beyond that, it's going to require further education. We have a joint task team at NEDLAC with government, with Treasury, with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, with SARS, with CISA and the pension funds, with the government employee pension funds, as well as Cosatu, just trying to make sure that we work as one collective. We said we share the same message. We see how to identify gaps, how to reinforce, how to address issues. But even beyond this, if you look at the levels of indebtedness, if you look at some of the mistakes that ordinary persons will make, how ordinary persons often become victims by scams and so forth, there is a need to do a huge amount of consumer education. So even beyond a simple implementation at 1 September, we need to do a lot of work. But I think also to say that, look, the two-part pension reforms is actually a very unique window period. It's not often you find that government, business and labor have one common view, but they managed to find a common consensus, which is going to help a lot of people. And actually we managed to achieve a bit of a unique positive effect that we're going to give people, workers, some relief, not as much as we would have loved to, but still it is a significant amount of relief. We're also going to help give workers choices about how their pension funds will be structured to suit their unique personal family circumstances. And at the same time, in addition to giving relief, we're going to avoid a scenario where currently under the law, many workers choose to resign in order to get relief. So workers will no longer have to do that. And also at the same time, we're going to be improving savings overall as well, because we also have to deal with the crisis of most workers not having enough saved when they reach retirement. And that's also another critical crisis. So I think for us it's a unique part. But it's not the end of the road. There are further discussions that will take place once the law comes into effect, because there are further reforms we want to see being done as well.
And just looking at some of the misconception that is around there, a lot of people still don't understand, how the withdrawals will impact them in as far as the tax component is concerned. When we look at that, this amount is actually capped at 30,000. Is that something that you are also concerned about when you are then giving awareness to your workers? Because I would imagine come the 1st of September, there will be questions around what in actual fact the workers are getting at the end of the day to make those ends meet, as you rightfully put it.
Yeah. Look, I don't think anybody likes to pay tax. Tax is one of those two guarantees of life with death. No one likes paying taxes. I think even the employees of SARS don't like to pay tax. But it is a necessity. It is taxes which pay for our nurses, our teachers, our police officers. It is taxes which fund our schools, our hospitals, our clinics, our police stations, our roads, our electricity, our water, our sanitation. So tax is always there. The fundamental principles have not changed. Whenever workers have withdrawn from the pension funds, all these years, all these decades, the tax has always been there. So there's no change in that regard. So it's a bit unfortunate people are saying that, why are we paying tax? Because the tax has always been there. Currently under the law, when you receive a pension fund, that amount of money is taken out of your taxable income. You are deliberately that's not including your current tax rates right now, to incentivize people to contribute to the pension funds, to make it easier for people to do so, to encourage and reward them. And so under the law, all these years, not just the new law, all these years, when you withdraw from your pension fund, you are taxed on it. So there's no way we're going to avoid that. That's always been there. The change which has occurred now under the new law is simply saying that, so under the currently what the tax rate has been is it's been a flat 18% tax rate, which is a disadvantage to low-income workers, for example, clothing workers who earn so little that actually don't pay income tax. they've been taxed at 18% all these years when they've withdrawn from the pension fund. So that's unfair to low-income workers because it's been a higher tax rate than what they should have been paying under the normal income tax rate. It's benefited high-income earners who, for example, are normally taxed at 45%, people earning above 1.5 million rand, for example. But when they withdrew from the pension funds, they were taxed at 18%. So that's been unfair in that regard. So what is going to happen now, the only change to the tax issue is that when you withdraw in future, your tax will no longer be 18%. It will now be linked to your personal income tax rate. So that's going to benefit low-income tax persons, workers, people who earn very little. And of course, it'll be more correct, more fair for those who are high-income earners because they'll now be linked to their personal income tax rate. But I think the message is that this is not a new thing. Taxes have always been there. And just like you have tax incentives or lower tax rate or tax exemptions when you contribute, yes, when you do withdraw, you do pay a tax. And I think, look, no one loves it. No one's going to celebrate paying tax. Everybody's irritated. But it's one of those necessities of life. And I don't think we can get away from that point to us. We discussed it exhaustively as Cosatu with Treasury, but many things we're not happy with. Even in Parliament too came up. But I think, look, if you want to have nurses and teachers and doctors, then yes, we live in a society where you will pay tax, even though none of us love to pay it.
Matthew, thank you so much for that. Of course, Matthew Parks is the Cosatu's Parliamentary Coordinator there. Of course, the two-part retirement system will kick off on the 1st of September, although there are some concerns about just the misconceptions around what this essentially means. A lot of work cut out there also for unions.